Emily Cutchin's Adler, the buttery babe, coming to you from my kitchen. Well, it's cold and dreary, which means we need soup. And today I feel like something a little bit different. So we're gonna make a Lox and Cod Chowder. Sounds yummy and salty and rich and delicious, so perfect. Here we are at the stove. We're gonna make everything right here. We have 1 potato cut up, that's about 12 ounces of potato, 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/4 cup of scallion. We have 2 teaspoons of thyme and a bay leaf, 1/4 cup of flour, 1 cup of heavy cream, 2 cups of milk. Let me scoot that so the camera can get it. 4 ounces of cream cheese. This is 2 carrots, 2 celery, and a small onion, about 1 cup of each. And then the star of the show, I have 1 pound of cod cut up into little bits and 1 pound of lox, also cut up into little bits. We love nothing better on a lazy weekend day than lots of bagels and a bottle of champagne, and we always buy too much lox because who wants to be stingy with something so important as that? So like, I'll end up with a baggie in the freezer with like 2 slices and then another 2 slices. So this is a great way to use that up, or just buy some lox fresh. Your deli will thank you. Heat your little pot over low and put in your 2 tablespoons of butter. My little person. It looks kind of dirty on the other side. Gotta love my mother-in-law. She knows me. And that's gonna melt nicely. And then we're gonna put in our mirepoix, aka carrot, celery, and onion. Yeah, I was a little bit lazy today and used some diced frozen onion because pandemic and there is an onion shortage. So these are gonna cook on low until they're just softened a little bit. It'll take maybe 6-7 minutes. We're not necessarily looking for any color, just softer. This is a pretty quick recipe. It'll take you half hour, 45 minutes to cook. I don't know how long it takes you to chop. Doesn't take me long at all, but you know, I'm a brat and I cook fast. So that's gonna cook for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna add some other goodies. We'll be back in a flash. So our veggies are just starting to soften up. They've been going about 5 minutes. Smells good already. Now we're gonna add in that garlic, and we're gonna give it a stir for about 30 seconds till it starts to smell delicious, as garlic does. Just a quick stirry stir. Isn't that pretty? Yum. Smells great. And now we're putting in 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to stir that in. Essentially what we're doing is we are creating a roux at the bottom of the pan, which is going to thicken our soup along with the potatoes that we're going to put in just a second. Ooh, that went fine. So just give this a stir. You'll see it starts to get starchy at the bottom of your pot. That's exactly what we're looking for. We just want to cook off a little bit of that raw flour flavor. Now that, see, it's got nice little lines of starch, which is great. So now we're going to put in the 1 potato. 1 potato too, yum. And we're going to put in the thyme and the bay leaf. And we're going to give that a stir. Now we're going to put in the 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of water. Yes, it's coming from my tea kettle, but it is cold. I just forgot to measure it out earlier. So it's 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of water. And we're going to put that in. Put in a little splash, just about 1 cup at first. And that way you can really take your spoon and get all of the garlic and the flour from the bottom of the pan worked in, almost like we're deglazing. If you did want to deglaze with a cup of wine, I'm not telling anyone. Doesn't need it, but really, what's not better with wine? And now we're going to put in the rest of the water and the milk. Give it a nice stir so that you got everything up off the bottom of the pan. And then we are gonna season it literally just a pinch of salt, because remember we're putting in the lox. And of course my trusty pepper mill, because where would we be without our pepper mill? Maybe one more crack, because I love it. So that is going to come up to a simmer, and then we're gonna cook it through for about 15 minutes so that the potatoes are nice and tender. How do you know? Well, you could pick a potato out and stab it with a little fork, and if it goes through, it's done. Or you could, I don't know, taste it, because it's food and it's delicious and you want to make sure it's yummy. So that's going to come up to a simmer, and it's going to cook for 15 minutes. But now you're asking, oh babe, isn't it fish? Lox and cod? Where's that stuff going? The lox is already cooked, as lox is, and the cod cooks through in about 2-3 minutes because we have it in little bites. So we're going to add that in at the end, and we're really just going to stir it through until it warms. So now we're going to come up to a simmer. We're going to cook for 15 minutes, and then we'll be back to add in even more goodies. Hey, it's Emily Cutchins Adler. It's been about 15 minutes. My potatoes and veggies in our chowder are just getting nice and soft and ready to go. So now we're going to do 2 important things. First, we're going to put in this delightful blob of cream cheese. That is 4 ounces, or half of a regular pack. If you only have a 3-ounce pack, go for it. If you don't have any cream cheese, it's fine. If you have some leftover veggie cream cheese or scallion cream cheese, that'll be delicious in here. It's just going to add an extra layer of rich, rich goodness. So that's getting melted in and making things even creamier and smoother and more, yay, I'm ready for the winter, I can handle this. It's like a therapy visit, but in a bowl. So that's mixed in there, and now we're gonna mix in our fish. So that's cod in little bits and lox in little bits. If you don't have cod, you can use some tilapia, you can use some fresh salmon, you can use some whitefish, whatever you have, or whatever you like. Also, if you have that, the cold smoked salmon, which looks like an actual fillet of salmon, you can use that as well. So we're gonna stir that through. It's just gonna take a few minutes to cook. While it's doing its thing, I'm gonna put in, this is a 1/4 cup of scallions. I'm gonna put in most of them. I'm gonna leave just a handful for my garnish. And I'm also gonna stir in 1 cup of heavy cream. Now, you've met me before. You know I like my soups thick and rich. Like, the spoon should hold up. If that is not your style, add some more water or a little chicken stock, fish stock, whatever you've got around. Make it how you like it. You're going to be eating it. Unless you're cooking it for me and I'm coming over and there's a vaccine, so whatever you make is what I'm going to eat. But anyway, make it how you like it. I'm going to stir that through. Let everything cook nicely. Make sure everything's distributed evenly. Equal distribution is so important in everything. Doesn't it look good? It's so pretty, and it's not even like garnished or anything. We're going to let this cook 3 to 5 minutes just to make sure it's all hot and the flavors have melded. See that big chunk of lox? He needed to be broken up a little bit. So we'll be back in just a few for the taste test, where we'll adjust the seasonings. I might need more salt or more pepper, and then we're going to plate it up. Just a flash. Hey, it's been 3 minutes. Now it's time to test our soup. See, we added a little bit more water. So that's 3 cups total, and now I'm going to test it for seasoning, the most important thing. It needs a little bit more salt and pepper. The bunny and I just discovered that we prefer belly lox, which is the saltiest, but this was made up of stuff that was in our freezer, remember I was telling you earlier? So it was the Nova, which is not as salty. And we want our chowder to be nicely seasoned all the way through. If you feel like being fancy, you could also put in a little squeeze of lemon juice or some lemon zest. I'm not in that mood today. Okay, looks beautiful. And now we're gonna do the plate up. right here, right now. So a nice scoop of our chowder, a little extra broth. So you can see that it has the beautiful pieces of lox and cod, and there's potato and carrot and celery. And then we're gonna garnish it with, we're gonna turn that flame off so I don't burn my hand. We're gonna garnish it with our reserved scallions. If you have chives, that's good too. If you don't want anything on there, it's your dinner. And then some of our delicious homemade bagel chips, which you can get the recipe for on our website. And it just looks pretty and delicious. Need that crunch because it's so rich. You want to have something to break it up. I'm Emily Hutchins Adler, the Buttery Babe. Thanks for watching my Lox and Cod Chowder. You can visit me at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course my website, www.butterybabe.com. Yay!